episode of The Strongest Man in the Room. And today we have a very, 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 very special guest.
I don't know how about very special. I'll tell you that now.
Hey, just chill. He's a very special guest, and so we're just gonna communicate, be as vulnerable as we can, and I believe that you already have aspects of the strongest man in the room. I pay attention to you, and I watch the way you move. So I hope in this episode, you bring what has brought you to the point that you are at currently. I just want to dive into that, brother. So introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Of course, you from the town, but I definitely, yeah, born and raised, but I definitely want you to introduce yourself to the people that don't know you.
Okay. Well, for the people that don't know me, my name is Willis. I'm a real estate agent here in licensed in Kansas and Missouri. Father, husband of two, beautiful baby girl, amazing son. That I call my legacy in that regards here. You know, like I said, just one of the hardest working in the town, just trying to educate and help people grow, that home ownership, bridge that gap of wealth in our community in that regards here. Blessed to be able to do, some really good things in regards to real estate.
Absolutely.
Last year, sold almost 10 million.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, sold almost
Hold
10
on, hold on. Good. Say that again.
sold almost 10 million last year. So, it's a really
Wow.
good year. God is always good,
Yeah.
in regards here to be able to help me. But, we always just keep moving forward.
Absolute. Okay, so I'm not gonna focus, right? Because when we hear as Black people, we hear $10 million. That immediately gets us interested. You feel me? Like I think about when I heard that number, I think about Wolf on Wall Street. Have you seen that movie?
I love
When the dude walk up and he like, yo, how much money you make? He's like, I made like 72,000. After taxes or whatever he said. He was like, yo, if that's the real amount, I'm gonna make a phone call and I'm gonna quit my job right now.
I work for you.
And I'll work for you, right? And so for our community, when we hear a number like that, you know what I mean?
I didn't make $10 million.
Exactly.
I want to preference that right now.
Correct.
I don't have $10 million. I wish I did, but it's on its way.
But commission is good and God is good. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So of course the 10 million looks good, but let's go backwards.
Okay.
To the early days when it didn't feel as good.
Ooh,
You know what I mean?
I've been licensed for 6 years.
Okay.
In real estate. Really, the first 2.5 years, it was touch and go. If this was really gonna be what I like, I've had a passion. A little background story on me. Like I went to college for half a semester, and I'm not a morning person. My clients will tell you that now. I'm not a morning person. Also, not really big on writing papers.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
that wasn't my lane. But I knew I wanted to make a lot of money, but I didn't want to have to go to college to do so. And college is amazing for like I said, whoever wants to go that route, fine. That's 100%. But not everybody wants to choose that route, and for me, that just wasn't the path that I saw for me in that regards here. So, working customer service and working sales jobs, is what I bounced around and did. And the show that really got me into real estate was $1 Million Listing. It's a
Okay.
real estate show that comes on Bravo, and I love that show.
And they be in California and
In
stuff
California, New York, and then
I
they had
think
one
I've seen that
Yeah,
before,
so
yeah.
that's my show. Like I watch those shows, and I'm like, man, if I could just sell one property that they sell and make $150,000 commission check, I'm like, life's
Gravy.
good,
Yeah.
in that regards here, and so for me, I just started doing research, like what exactly would it take to get in there, and so went to interview with a real estate company. At the time, it was called Angel Berry Realtors. Now I think it's called like Cisco Realtor Group or something like that. But at the time, I sat down with my guy and we had a conversation. He told me this is what you need to do. And at the time, I was not making a lot of money. I wasn't really happy. And then I was like, I had just had my daughter. And that's what clicked when it, I'm like, because at first it was okay, it was just no kids, me, my girlfriend, who's now my wife. We didn't have any kids, so life's good. We had
We
minimum
cool. Yeah.
expenses in that regards here. And then when I was told I'm having a daughter, I'm like, oh,
Yeah. It
things
had to
got
be
to
a
change.
switch.
Yeah,
It had
things.
to be
Yeah,
a shift
it
real quick.
instantly it shifted, and it's like, okay, now it's grind time.
Mm-hmm.
Because now there's somebody who's looking at you. And so for me, it was the fact of, okay, now I need to be able to figure out how to be able to go get that bag, in that regards here. And so, I always tell people my daughter is who I call my purpose,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what sparked, that in me. And my son is who I call my legacy, because everything I'm doing now is to be able to teach my son as a black man, you don't always have to play sports, or, you don't have to be a rapper,
Come on, man.
Entertainer.
You
I mean,
can be a
that's fine
very
if that goes.
intellectual individual.
But
Yeah.
but there's big bags in legitimate business in that regards here, and being able to teach and educate in that regards here. And so for me, that's why I call him as my legacy. So everything I'm doing now is to be able to set them up in that regards here. And so once my daughter was born, I went and interviewed, and they told me what I needed to do, and I got my license, and I actually had a settlement because I actually had workman's comp injury, and I had carpal tunnel on both hands. So once they paid me that check, I quit my job, and I went straight into real estate full time, which I do not advise.
Okay, so hey, stop right there, because there has to be a level of either being naive or sure about what you want to do to invest.
It was unknown. It was neither one. I was not naive because I knew it was a big risk, but I wasn't sure either because nothing is for sure. There's
Right,
not like,
right.
And especially in this industry where everything's 100% commission.
Okay.
So what you make is really it, in that regards here. So I know if, I can't be mad at the end of the day if I can't pay my bills, it's because I didn't work hard enough. That's being accountable for me, because I just didn't work hard enough.
Absolutely.
So, kids hungry, we can't eat. I'm like, that was on me.
Was that like a shift that happened to you? I mean, I know you said your daughter, of course, but that mindset just doesn't grow overnight.
Well, see, I've always worked in sales.
Okay.
So I knew, and real estate is really those two things: is customer service and how you relate and talk to people and educate them, and you're on their level. But it's also a sales aspect, because that's what I do is I sell real estate. And so it's a balance of the two. So for me, I've always done sales, working at big companies like Granger and different things like that. And I worked at ADT and a lot of other companies. So I've worked sales, Now, was I the greatest at it? Probably not. And, my managers will tell you that, well, it's just, because I get short term, like I'm good for the first, like, that honeymoon stage at the job, or it's new and it's fresh.
Yeah.
And then it's like, after a while, I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. So it's like, I just never could stick with a job. And actually my longest job I ever worked for, besides real estate now, I've done this for 6 years, is when I actually didn't work sales at all. It
What'd
was
you do?
I worked at Restart, which is a homeless center.
Okay.
And I worked up there. And the only reason why I didn't continue working there is because they shut the center down, the day center that we worked at. But that was something that was fulfilling for me, is, working with the homeless and, getting to know their stories and being able to help them, in that regards here, who are often overlooked, in that regards here. So for me, that was super rewarding, and that really took it to where I was like, that's where I would, would have probably been for a little bit longer. But, everything happens for a reason,
for
and
sure.
that moved you, to the next phase and led me into real estate eventually.
So what type of shifts do you think happened mentally for you to get you to a point from where it was something that you just desired to now being in a position where you sold $10 million worth of properties? What was that? What was the difference in who you were 6 years ago when you were trying to get into it? Matter of fact, take it even further back than that. Take it back to when you didn't even know real estate was what you was trying to do. How were you thinking then compared to how you think now?
Man, it was, to be honest with you, in that regards, I honestly can't tell you how the shift happened, because I always knew, like I said, I didn't just want to work a 9 to 5, have somebody telling me, can I go to the bathroom, or can I go eventually take my kids to practice, or can I take this day off so I can go to the doctor's appointments, in that regards here. And then, I do have that, little bit in me where I kind of rebel against, the standard,
Okay.
And,
You're a rule breaker.
yeah, I am.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I am.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I don't like, at times, and, shout out to my mom, who is actually my assistant,
That's
and
hold on. So you were in a position where you running a business.
yeah.
And your mother is your assistant.
Yeah, my mom.
So you pay your mom?
Yeah, absolutely. My mom works for me. And
that's hard.
It was a situation where my mom, she did admin work for 20 plus years. And unfortunately she had a stroke when she worked, and so she couldn't do that.
Sorry to hear that, by the way.
She's good, bro. She does amazing. So for her, it was going from being dependent on, I can go get my own money, to now having to be on disability, and so for her, we work out a way, that makes sense, in a sense, for her to come aboard and, kind of help me with just the paperwork side of things. In that regards, so she doesn't show houses, she doesn't sell houses, but
she takes care of that side.
Yeah, she takes care of the back end, making sure my files are straight and things like that, and making sure my clients are straight, checking up on them in that regards here. And so, I make sure, certain things around her house are taken care of. And,
so how easy has that made your flow in your business?
So before she came aboard, I was doing, I think I had just, and she's been with me now for a little over 2.5 years, I think, 2 years, 2.5 years. Before her, I was somewhere around like $4 million a year I was selling. So I more than doubled my business because it frees me up from not having to do the tedious things that I don't like to do, and I focus on growth of the business.
Absolutely.
And going out and finding new business, being able to go, as I say, shake hands, kiss babies, in that regards here.
For those people that are in a position of wanting to build something, just for you in the position you in, how important has it been for you to have a team?
It's honestly, I can't do what I do without the people around me, starting with my wife, in that regards here. I can't be who I am and who people see me on social media and selling houses and, Willis closed it in that regard. I'm not that, starting without my wife and my mom, in that regards here. My dad is amazing too, but my wife, she deals with me on the ugliest of days, when
Respect.
When behind closed doors,
Respect.
these clients don't understand
Respect.
what all it goes into.
Your wife would feel some type of way if you didn't honor her.
Yeah.
So, respect.
Well, she knows. Well,
Respect.
I've always, said at any point in time, when I first started this real estate journey of mine, my wife was the breadwinner. She's the one who kept it together, making sure in that regards there, because it was, at times I was just like, I need to just sell one house so I can pay rent. I'm hoping to sell one house just so I can make rent that month.
So, hey, bro, explain how much you were thinking about that as a man. You know what I mean?
It hurt.
Yeah, it like to
my ego. My ego.
Now we're getting somewhere. Now
we
getting somewhere.
To know that I gotta rely on my wife.
Yes.
Yeah. That hurt.
Because as men, we always look at ourselves as you have to be the strongest, the fastest, the smartest, right? And so in the positions that we are sometimes in, we have to be the submissive one. Yeah. Right?
And
how did that help you, being submissive, to be in the position where now you...
Well, it allowed me, I'll say this.
Yeah.
At times I still struggle, as a husband, which every husband will tell you, at times it's still a balancing act, being an entrepreneur, a father, and a husband.
Absolutely.
And trying to stay on top of your game on all three of them. It's a balancing act that's difficult. But I love my wife for her understanding that for us to be able to be where we are now, it took that sacrifice of her taking the lead and making sure that things were still running in that regards to why I'm out here chasing my dream. And now we're at a point now where I pay all the bills. and my wife is able to now help us save and be able to, so we can invest and things like
Ooh,
that.
okay.
So the roles have shifted.
I can't let this. I can't let this question go because I need to ask this. During this process where the wife was the breadwinner, what things did you have to do and be accountable to make that process something that she was comfortable with? Because like we hear so much that the man has to do everything, right? And so when the woman has to, make sure we stay afloat, I don't want to negate that it still takes a very strong man
Yeah.
to be able to do that, right? And it also takes a very focused man to still be able to find ways to not take things sensitively, right?
I took it sensitive.
You
I took
did?
it personal.
You
I
did?
did because, for me, I grew up where, with my grandfathers and uncles and things like that. And, the men work and women take care of the house is kind of how they
Yeah, for
did
sure.
things. And so for me growing up, that's what I saw,
Yeah.
as the man is the provider, the protector, in that regards here. And those were more defined roles. Now, as we become more in this society equals,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
everybody does everything and it's really like not a defined role and it's just all kind of mushed together.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's still a struggle today because, I just want, to make sure financially she's good and the house is good and I protect and provide in that regards here. But there's also times that I understand that my wife needs help. And that's a conversation. Even just a couple of days ago, me and my wife were having a conversation, and I told her, I was like, whenever you do need help, I would hope you would come to me because, as tunnel vision as I do get,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a detriment at times, as tunnel vision as I get, where I'm looking for what's next, my next deal, so we can be able to do this and we can go on vacation and we can save and we can do these things here and we're financially free. Certain small things get lost, in that regards here, where she just at times need help. And, I do get tunnel vision and I sometimes don't see it. And like I said, it's been a struggle because as much on go mode as I am, stopping to take time and, in that regards here, it's still a struggle, but, I've gotten better at it. I've gotten better at it, especially over the years. Since we've been married in that regards here. So it's still, like I said, it's still touch and go, because it's comfortable for me to be in my element, which is providing and protecting and, bringing in the money and in that regards here. That's easy.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
okay, and I'm gonna ask him again because he don't want to answer it just yet. So I'm gonna ask him again. So if that is a thing that you love to do, right?
Yeah.
What type of man were you when you couldn't do that?
It was a lot of depression. It was depressing because I knew what I wanted to do and I just wasn't there yet. Like I knew what I could do and I'm like, I can be this guy and I can provide and I can do these things, but the bank account wasn't showing it.
Correct.
And so, at that time it put me in, a lot of challenging, and shout out to my support system and even have a conversation with my mom and my dad as well, because they were in the same role where my dad first, he went on long-term disability when I was back in high school. And so my mom was a breadwinner out working in that regards here. So having that conversation with my dad, where he was able to tell me just certain things to be able to kind of, all right, it's going to be all right. I'm going to be able to keep it going in that regards here. So, that having a support system, but at times it was depressing. It was like, it did make you sometimes feel less of a man, because knowing that she had the money, even though everybody says it's y'all money, like for me, in my mind, her money is her money and my money is her money. That's how
Well, you a blessed woman because not too many dudes say that.
That's what I always tell her. She was like, no, your money's your money. I'm like, no, my money is your money and your money is your money, because, for me.
So where your money at?
Hey, man, God is good, brother. God is good, brother.
Hey, when something's sweet for somebody, they always say God is good.
Hey, man, God is
right.
good, man.
All right, cool.
We still make sure that we have my things that I want to do, and certain like love shoes and love, other things like that. And I still have my habits that I like to do, and so I'm able to do those things. But the house is taken care of, the bills are paid. In that regards here, we're still saving, and kids are good.
It had to be a lot of dedication. It had to be
A lot of that.
a lot of long nights where you were really sitting up after the wife went to sleep.
Yeah, I do that now. I focus on probably about 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. That's what I get.
Yeah, that's around.
And,
that's about me.
And so my wife, she, the kids go to bed at 9 o'clock every night at 9. The wife is usually right about the same time because she gets up. She's an early riser. I absolutely despise mornings. So I'm usually up to about 3, 4 in the morning every day. And so usually that gives me time to reflect, to be able to work, to be able to network. I'm still even on social media, and I'm watching what people are posting. I'm inboxing people. I'm having phone, buyer consultations at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because there's some people that are working and they go to break at 2 or 3 o'clock. Well, I'm up. Give me a call. Let's talk. So I'm always working. Even I tell people, even when it doesn't look like I'm working, I'm always working.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm always networking and talking to somebody and trying to figure out,
what's the next play? What's the next move?
I'm lurking on social media. If I see, oh my God, my credit score went up, time to buy a house. Let's go. So if I see, a good life event, I'm having another baby. Well, you need to sell the house to be able to buy a bigger one. Let's go. We're getting married. Well, you guys need to buy a house. So I'm always lurking to see, hey, I'm trying to see everything at that point here. So
you super aware of
I'm always conscious. I'm always conscious of who I add and what they're doing. There's some people that I tell them, I've been watching, your family. I feel like I'm a part of it because, that's my job is to be able to be in the know of people and what they're posting and things like that. And social media, I've been blessed in 6 years of business. The last, 5 years, I've spent no money on marketing. I spent not $1 on marketing.
You blessed. God is good.
God is good, bro. Because a lot of people can't say that, but for me, it's literally I watch everything. In that regards here, social, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. I'm on everything, and I'm always seeing what everybody's doing, and I'm always conversating with people in that regards here.
You taking in information?
I'm always doing it. And people will tell you everything about them.
Do you read any books at all? What are some of the favorites?
I don't really read books, and I'll be honest with you, just because I don't have time to sit there. But I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Okay, that's how you get your knowledge.
So that's and I watch a lot of YouTube,
and that's cool.
YouTube, so I watch podcasts, I watch people and things like that. Bigger Pockets, I watch Millionaire Mindset. I listen to those things there, and so those are a lot of things that I listen to, see what people are doing.
So is that something that you try to make sure to put into your daily habits? Is listening to podcasts? Because you have there's some things, you have a secret sauce to being able to sell 10 million. Besides God, God is a amazing thing, but he just ain't giving people things that ain't putting themselves in positions to win.
It's more so because a lot of people even ask me, about networking and can they mentor them and things like that. And what I do, I don't know if it translates to what would be successful for someone else. And like I said, I've thought about that. And for me, it's unconventional, but for me, it's more the relationships that I build with people. Because if I sell Ryan a house and I do an amazing job and I get him the best deal possible,
I'm about to tell somebody else.
That's who it's going to be, and you don't know who that's going to be, and they don't know who that's going to turn into in that regard here. And that's just kind of how, in 6 years, a lot of the business goes that way. It's just doing good business with people and being honest with people, and my clients know that I'll run through a brick wall for them, but I'm not a yes man. When we're out here, I understand this is your money, but you're entrusting me into the biggest purchase you're ever going to make.
That's solid. I had somebody come through with a question, and they asked, do you sell commercial property?
I have. I primarily focus on residential, but right now, I'm working with an investor who's a 8-figure investor, and so we're looking at commercial properties and different things like that now, north of 10 million. Is his budget, so we're I'm trying to close that down as immediately as possible. So Christmas will be really good on that one.
Christmas is sweet. Can I be your son during that time?
Hey, man.
Hey,
9 o'clock is bedtime.
I'll be in bed at 8:30 the rest of the year. What's up? I'll be in bed 8:30 the rest of the year.
but I do dabble in the commercial space, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I'm resourceful, and I have a lot of connections in that regards here. So what I don't have and what I lack, I have a network of people that I touch base with that are in the commercial field. So I have a girl I was just on the phone with who I have an investor that's looking in trailer parks. I have not the slightest idea, but I know a lady that sells a lot of them. So, I'm networking
How
with
can
her.
we make this?
In that regard here. So, what I don't know, I can get the answer. I'm always the source of the resource, in that regards here. And so that's what I always tell people. What I don't know, what I'm not an expert on, nobody's going to outwork me. I'll study as much as I can. I'll bring as many people to the table. I'll ask as many questions as possible. I don't have an ego. At the end of the day, did my client get help? Did they get help to the best of their abilities? And did that check clear?
So what do you think as a real estate agent that is hit this level? Because this is a level, 10 million selling properties. That's not
God is good.
Yeah, that's not a that's not a small number at all. And so what do you think are some of your best qualities that you've come to identify within yourself to put you in this position?
Well, the first thing, I'll definitely tell you, the first thing that is probably being relatable. I can relate to a lot of people because, for me, I grew up in the inner city. I went to Sanford B. Ladd. In that regards here, that don't even exist anymore for a lot of people.
All.
So,
they like,
that's,
what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so some
up.
people that's listening, they like, dang, like,
that's throwback.
Yeah, exactly. Right around the corner from DA Homes in that regards
up.
here. So, I grew up off of 3030 Bell Fountain, 2730 Brighton. I'm right there, from where a lot of people come from. And so for me, I relate to a lot of people. So, I can put on the button up and with the best of them. I can also put on the Timbs and my Jordans with the best of them as well. So I can adapt to people. I can relate. I'm honest when I talk to these people. And my clients will tell you. For me, if I'm not feeling the property, like we can walk in a property and I can tell within 30 seconds if you like it. I can read people. Your body language will tell me like this is the one. Like it'll be like, this ain't it. And I'm honestly to tell you, like, there's some people I've worked with for 2-3 years on buying a house. It's not a sale right now. I know it's going to come, but I'm also not just working with one person. I'm working with multiple people. So I'm not pressuring you.
So patience is a must.
Absolutely. With dealing with this whole process is going to test your patience.
Listen, I tried to get into real estate. Well, I was into it. I had like 35 properties at one time. That's a whole different conversation. But everybody that I met in real estate during that time, they were like so like we gotta hurry up, we gotta get this done. Like they were so worried about the money and not the person that they're actually doing the service for, that you could tell that after the service was over, the client probably didn't have the best experience because they wanted either they were worried about the commission, or they were the middleman between the buyer and the seller. You know what I mean? So they was trying to hurry up and rush to get it done.
I get it. And like I tell my clients, I'm like, it's a balancing act between being patient and knowing when turn it to 100. So it's patient to be able to find the right property, no matter how long that takes. If it takes a year and a half, I ain't going nowhere. We'll go and see, sometimes I've seen probably 80, 90 properties with somebody over a couple years period. And I'm like, is this the one? Is this the one? I'm like, nope. And it gets frustrating because I don't make a commission until we close. So when you break down the time and effort and the phone calls and the showings and gas and maintenance and everything else that goes into it, I could have made more money at a 9 to 5 on that. And so, in that regards here, so, when you talk about that, so what I tell them, I'm like, it's a speed and patience game, because when we do find the right one, it's on go mode. Like, it's time to turn up. Like, let's go. And my clients all know they all, I talk to them on social media, in that regards here. And, I wish I was more than one person, because they invite me to so many different events, and I can't make them all, just because there is a lot of clients and there's a lot of events, and there's some that I can't make, but they can always call me even after the sale. It's not about the money, because the money's the byproduct of doing good business. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, the money's going to be there, whether it's with you or somebody else. I'm going to make my money. I don't care.
That was a shot. That was good.
I'm just saying, I don't care. It's a byproduct of doing good business. So if I do amazing business, the money's going to follow. And I'm doing what my passion is too. There's some people that seeing it as a get rich quick scheme.
Absolutely.
Let's hurry up and make a couple dollars in that regards. Like, I don't really care if we buy a $50,000 house or $1 million property. I don't really care. You're going to get the same service. I'm going to still tell you the same things. And if I need to, I'll put my foot in your ass at any point in time, because I'm not a yes man. We're partners in this.
Absolutely.
My job is to be able to get you the best property. It might not be the prettiest on the block, but if you don't like the way the cabinets look, we can change them. You don't like paint, we can change them. Those are all cosmetic, but is the foundation good? Is the roof? In that regards here, and we have an inspection company that comes out who's 5-star rated in that regards here. And so, dealing with them, they make sure they take care of my clients, and they do free re-inspections. We make sure we get the best possible service, and the client makes sure that they're happy. And even sometimes after we close, there might be an issue that comes up, that we didn't get taken care of. There's sometimes I just cash out my clients like, hey, go, here's my plumber. What is the bill? How much? $400. All right, boom. I'll send them the money, in that regards. And that type of service has served me well to be able to help my clients, moving
that extra
forward.
mile goes a lot
it
for
does,
the customer.
and because they understand that, okay, after we close, it's not like Willis is like done with me. Like, no, I'm your realtor for life. Because this is not the last transaction we're going to do. Most people stay in their first house from 5 to 7 years before life happens, whether we get a promotion, add kids, get married. Life happens in that 5 to 7 years span. So, when that happens, you calling Willis again. Hey, I need you to sell this, and we need to go buy something bigger.
Yeah. So for the people that are looking at you and being like, man, Will, man, I would really like to buy a house, dog, but I just don't know what to do.
That's fine. Are we on? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So I actually have a home buyer seminar this Saturday.
For real?
This Saturday.
glad
And it's
you're
a
on
free
this week.
it's a free event. It's actually going to be at the Black Hole. My phone number is 816-929-5366. That is 816-929-5366. Text me if you want to come. It's a free event. I will have my financial planner. I do have a financial advisor. He'll be there. I have my lender. I have my home inspector. I have my credit repair, for people that's there.
Wow.
I also have my homeowner's insurance agent that's going to be there. And these are people I personally use. I closed on my house back in April. I personally use these people even for my particular property.
Wow.
So, these people are people that I put my name by, and I don't put my name behind just anybody, in that regards here, because that is a reflection of me.
Correct.
And so anybody that's looking, it's a free event. Feel free to come out. 11 to 2 is when I'm having it. Text me so that I could be able to put you down and how many ever people you want to bring. I don't care. I'll try to make sure we have enough food because I'll be having just small sandwiches and chips for everybody. So I don't want you starving while you're there, but I'm not trying to feed you so you go to sleep.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
but we'll make sure that we take care of you, and there's just a lot of knowledge and networking and people that we have. I definitely would like to have you as my guest. Please text me, call me,
Yeah.
inbox me on Facebook.
Message
in that
me
regards
too.
here,
If
Ryan could be able to help you out.
yeah, if you are in a position where this sounds like something you want to attend, please reach out to me, and I will make sure to get your information to my brother, so you can be in a position to get this free knowledge. I've never heard of a seminar, not to say that they don't exist, but I've never heard of a seminar where a person is bringing the people that they get the business done with. Yeah, like he's making sure his lender is there, his insurance agent,
Home inspector,
a home inspector,
my
like
personal financial advisor.
His personal financial advisor.
Because
These people will be there sharing the information to make sure that if real estate is something that you want to get into, not even real estate, but if you want to get your credit in order, this is an opportunity for you to get free game in order for you to start that process. So I'm glad you came on this week.
Hey, man,
to be able to.
I'm glad.
Yeah, to be able to talk about that, bro, because this is an opportunity. Because people will watch the replays, and it's Tuesday. They got a few days to watch the replay.
Yeah.
So we possibly could have some people that reach out to me.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll make sure to put that out, man. If there's a way that we can like kind of put up something.
Yeah, I have a flyer I can
Yeah,
send to you.
please send me that flyer. So to talk about to slide away from real estate.
Let's talk.
Tell me about your growing up. You said you had your was your dad in the home?
Yeah,
Mom and dad in the home.
I was blessed to be able to have both my mom and dad in the house. I have an older sister, 2 younger brothers, so it's 4 of us. And then at any given time, it was 8, 9 different cousins. That's always there. So it was always a house full, and it was always a big family. That I come from. So having that was an amazing experience because, there are some people that, grew up a single child in that regards here. At times it's like I wish I had my own, but, looking back and just, how close I am with, family, at times in that regards here is just an amazing experience, being able to have those stories to be able to go back and say.
Do you think you're in a position of like, better yet, let me ask you this way. Do you think that the way you grew up added something to the reason why you're in the position you're in?
Yeah. So
how does you being raised on Bell Fountain correlate to you being able to say that I've sold $10 million worth of property?
Well, it's knowing where I was. And there was times, I love my mom and dad to death, but, there's times we came home and is the lights going to be on? Right. What's for dinner, in those regards here. And there's those type of things that, a lot of people grow up and they do. And, for me, that was, always something that I looked at and I never wanted to be able to experience again. So it was always a drive in me. Like I said, I love my parents to death, but, at times I understood that, I don't like this, taking cold showers, and then, sleeping with couple different blankets because the heat's off, the lights is off, what are we eating, in that regards here, all those things, the struggles that, people say, I went through it as well.
Absolutely.
But I understood that, I can change my circumstances, and I'm in control of that, and there wasn't, what I do is now is being able to talk to my family, like my brothers, my mom and dad, my grandma, none of them owned a home. I'm the first generation homeowner.
For real?
Absolutely.
Even your mom and dad?
Never owned a home. They still don't to this day. They're working on being able to do that now that I've been in real estate and, getting that going.
You've been teaching them some
stuff.
stuff?
Yeah. So we're working on that, and my grandma as well, in that regards here. And, brothers, that's because, in our community, just having the financial literacy, the being able to knowledge about credit, that's important. As, and shout out to Terrell Ray, being able to link with you. Was it last week?
Sure. Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Last week, week and a half ago, 2 weeks, so something like that. But being able to have our young men's financial course that we had there, and I was a guest to be able to talk about credit and how important it is in our community. And Black home ownership is one of the lowest per capita of any race. We don't really understand or have those conversations about credit. We don't really. Most of us don't even really know what it's for. They just know that credit is something that people go off of. How to be able to build it, how to obtain it, those type of things. There is something that I'm passionate about because even if you don't buy a house with it, having great credit helps you with any other aspect. Building a business, your car, cars, anything,
investments,
all that is dependent off of credit. And so for us, we get in the game so late after we done destroyed it, not knowing what it was for, and then you're behind the 8 ball trying to catch up, and so that's something that whether it's home ownership or not, I'm always an advocate for, building credit, maintaining credit. People with great credit scores spit it out like that because they understand how hard it is to build and easy it is to destroy. Credit is one of those things that is very, very easy to destroy and it's hard as hell to build.
It takes a lot of work.
It does. And so people that have great credit, they monitor it all the time. They know what's on there. They know when bills are due, what's going to impact them in that regards here. So I have those conversations even with clients on being able to build those things, how to be able to get started, in that regards here. And, it's rewarding, like I said, because I do feel like it's not just selling them a house.
Mm-hmm.
It's setting them on a path.
You're teaching them.
Yeah, to be able to
literacy.
financial literacy that's going to help
Through
them
real
for
estate.
financial freedom.
Mm.
You know, and then, you know, real estate just helps in so many other aspects when owning your home is the equity that you build.
Mm-hmm.
So now if, you know, my son wants to go to college, I can pull equity out of my house and I send him to college without having to go get it. So he's not bogged down on student loans. I can then, you know, if he doesn't want to go to college, that's his problem, you know, but we'll start a business and I can fund that with bringing equity out of my home in order to do that. So either way, being able to set him up on a path to success now when my son is 5, you know, and now he's an authorized user on my credit cards. So is my daughter. So by the time that they're 18, you know, we're starting them out where they're ahead of the game. It's not at 18, go figure it out. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do at 18. I didn't become into real estate until I was 26.
That's a lot of time.
You know, I started thinking about real estate at 26 when I had my daughter and got licensed when I was 27.
So what do you think that was in you that made you desire to do something different than your family?
Because I've always seen everybody work, you know, and working is just, it's just for the birds, man. it's the, you know, and sometimes depending on what field it is, I mean, that's, you know, 100%. I support people, you know, whatever they want to do. You know, for some people, working in certain fields, you know, gives them joy, you know, teaching and, you know, or being a firefighter, policeman, and, you know, a doctor, lawyer, and those things. That's 100%, you know, I support you in whatever you want to do. But for me personally, you know, the 9 to 5 punching the clock was something that I realized at an early age, you know, this ain't it. You know, I've been working since I was 15.
Yeah.
You know, in that regards here. So I'm like,
yeah.
so, you know, Mr.
You
Good
get
Sense.
old with
I was
it.
there, you know, yeah, exactly. You know, after school, you know,
Yeah.
that just wasn't for
I
me.
gotta be there today.
Yeah, and I'm like, especially when the sun is out and it's a good day. You know, I want to be out with the fellas and I
Yeah.
want to be out, you know, kicking it. But I know I got to. Yeah. So for me, is being able to set myself up where I can be able to have those options. You know, I can be able to choose to.
That's what money's about, though, right? It's having
You know,
options.
is being able to do that, and I'm blessed to be able to have those options. Where if I don't want to sell a house today, or I don't want to go show houses, guess what? I'm not. But I also know that every action has a reaction, because that one day I didn't go show a house, I could have wrote 4 contracts that day, and it would have been a really good day at the end of the month. So it's always a action and a reaction to every action. So I understand that, but there's some days I don't want to do anything. I want to play Call of Duty 2K. So I'm going to be at the house, you know, in that regard here. There's some days.
But you got the freedom to do that.
I have that, you know, but it's also hard work that goes into these days too.
You know, a lot of people would say that they want to live that kind of life of being able to make those kind of decisions.
They think they do.
No, they say they do.
They think they do.
They say they do.
There's a lot of people that think they do.
So for a person like you, can you tell them the many like things that you have seen with making that decision of wanting to own your freedom?
Well, I will tell you that I put in more hours now than I do at a 9 to 5.
Okay.
You know, it's never ending. I work more days now than I do on a 9 to 5. You know, but I'm also living my passion. You know, something that's my dream. So it doesn't really feel like work. You know, in that regards here. But a lot of people, you know, they say that they want to do it, but they don't want to make the sacrifice. And there's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of times that, you know, I'm not with my kids, you know, in that regards here, because I'm working. I'm out showing houses. You know, family events going on where the family's all together, and I'm out showing houses all day. You know, so I miss those things. You know, so there are a lot of sacrifices that I make, but I understand I'd rather sacrifice now than when my kids get older. I want to be able to enjoy life with them. You know, I want to be able to go to football practices, you know, when he's in high school, and my daughter wants to, you know, do whatever she wants to do, cheer or whatever else. You know, if they want to go to the debate club, you know, let's travel and go do that. You know, when they go out to college, I want to be able to go down to homecomings and, you know, things like that, and being able to make sure I can be there for my kids. But I understand that sacrifice is going to be needed. And I'd rather sacrifice now where they don't really understand. They just know daddy sells houses. And then when they get older, they'll understand what it was for. You know, because the lifestyle that we live, that we're blessed to live, is not normal.
Ooh.
And I had to sit down and have that conversation with my daughter. You know, it's not normal
The way
what
we
we
live.
do. Yeah, no, I'm
Not
like
everybody gets to live
they
like this.
they
Yeah.
don't because you know, like I tell her, you know, when you just say I want new shoes or you know I need new clothes, and the very next day we going out to the
have the
mall and
opportunity to do
we're
that.
doing this. If you want to go to dinner and you know sit down at dinner somewhere and you know, my daughter's a little bougie, so it's for her it's lobster and steak. You know, and so
She
we can
been
do
taught
those
well,
things.
huh?
Yeah, so I mean,
Okay.
hey, God is good.
God is good.
So for her, it just it brings me joy to be able to provide for them. You know, in that regards here, and so for me, you know, but I had to explain to my daughter that not everybody is able to do this.
Absolutely.
You know, there's some people that don't have the ability to do this.
Absolutely.
So you have to understand that it's only because mommy and daddy work hard that we're able to do these things. To go on trips and, you know, you like to go to Florida and go to the beach and stuff like that. There's still a lot of people that can't go to Florida and go to the beach.
I'm telling you.
You know, they don't get
I'm
to
telling
travel.
you. I had an experience. We're close to ending the show.
Okay.
But I had an experience. I've been wanting to talk to a realtor about this for a long time.
Let's talk.
All right. So I had a situation, and I ain't trying to put my business out here, but I'm just saying.
I mean,
all right.
either
All
we
right,
could
so-
talk on camera or
No,
either
no,
one
no,
we could
cool.
talk.
Because I need this. I need this experience. My grandma might watch this one day, so I need her to see it. All right. So I had just got my daughter out of foster care.
Okay.
All right. And so my great grandmother had a stroke. All right. So she had to move with my grandmother. All right. So they staying together. So which left a house that she pretty much owns free and clear. Like she don't owe nothing, just property tax.
Okay.
That's it. All right. I'm thinking, right? Hey, you don't work this hard, you know, pay off a house completely to sell it. You pass it down through your family. We all grew up in this house, right? What do you think it is better for legacy, right? When you're in a position to pass down homes, or do you think it's better for the homeowner that paid off the home to sell the home?
And so for me, I will say this is that it's a case by case basis because the first thing, you know, a lot of times, you know, they say don't sell grandma's house. You know, the kids don't want to maintain and be there. They don't. For them, they don't really want to be there. So that's why you see a lot of these investors come in and they'll buy up the block, you know, in that regards here, because a lot of times they'll have it where, you know, grandma house, you know, somebody comes and say, I'll give you $40,000 for it. You know, and we can split it 3 ways. All right. You know, let's do it. That's $13,000 a piece.
Right.
You know, and for something that I don't really care to do because they don't also see the vision too, because that is a wealth factor.
Correct.
You know, in that regard,
Correct.
here, because what you could do, you know, at a lot of times is
Come
either
on, say it,
refinance,
say it,
you
say
can
it,
re-HELOC, you know,
say
take
it.
out the equity
Come
and
on.
fix it up.
Come on.
You know, and then rent it out.
Come
so
on,
now
and turn it into an Airbnb.
It's an investment property now.
Yes.
You know, but
Yes.
you could also, in a certain chance, you could fix it up yourself and sell it and make a more of a profit to be able to then take that money as a 1045 exchange and be able to then go ahead and put that money into something else and then not have to pay taxes on it. You know, in that regards here, there's a lot of ways to be able to do it. You know, so it's not a clear cut answer. Would I do it? No. Would I want my house that I'm living in now to be sold? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
You know, and my kids will understand the value of real estate, but that's also an issue of not educating. People don't know. So for them, for somebody that doesn't have much, 13,000 is a lot. You know, somebody tell me I'd give you 40 bands and we could break it down 3 ways from between me and my siblings. We ain't staying here no way.
Right.
But that 13,000 to get us, you know, a new car, be able to pay some bills and this and that.
You'll start making plans with the 13.
That short term,
Yeah.
you know, where
'Cause after
that
13 is
investor's going to
gone.
take that $40,000 house, probably put another 40, 50 into it, sell it for 150 to 200,000, and now he's made over 6 figures. You know, because he understands the game.
Man, I drove past the house the other day, and I know that's what he did.
I'm sure. I see it all the time.
Listen, it looks totally different.
It does.
Bro, it almost made me cry that the house that my great grandmother, like, pretty much raised my grandma, my mom and me and my little brother in is totally different. The like the roses that we used to cut as kids, man, they cut all of them down. The bushes that she used to have in the front yard, they cut them all down, bro. And it was like, man, we had an opportunity, regardless of how like big or small the house is, we had an opportunity to say this is ours as a family. You just gave it away to somebody to now some Mexicans is there. There's no offense to my Spanish people, but like that was in our family for generations.
And I see it all too often. I mean, you
It's
can
sad, bro.
drive around just the inner city.
It's
you know,
sad,
a lot of
bro.
those properties were predominantly African Americans
It's
because
sad, bro.
when you know, just look at the history of Kansas City redlining, east of Truce and everything like that. That's where predominantly African Americans stayed, you know, in there because it was affordable. Then as the years have grown and things have been more downtown and new construction and renovation is starting to push people further and further out south,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in that
And up
regards here.
north.
If they can get in there
And
for
if
the
they can
right,
afford to.
yeah, if they can
Yeah,
afford
for
it,
sure.
or out east or somewhere in that regards here. So now, like I said, those properties in the inner city that were very affordable,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in that regards here, you know, back in, you know, when Grandpa was out working in that regards here, and you know, houses of $40,000-$50,000,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in that regards here, and he bought a, you know, that was a stamp of pride, black ownership, you know, because
Yes.
it was just a pride thing, you know, knowing that, you know, this was ours.
Yeah, bro, I can't even pull up to my great grandmother's house. Like it blows my mind, dog, that we just don't have that, and we miss an opportunity to be able to start the wealth process, start the process of actually gaining some things for our family because we sell it off, not actually understanding how important it is. All right. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it sucks. You know, that's the reality. But the more that you educate people and they understand what their options are, sometimes they feel like they don't have an option, you know, in that regards here. And that is their little golden ticket to be able to take it, you know. And like I said, but with some education, you know, like I said, and being able to educate people on different options on how to be able to maneuver those things. You know, like I said, you can refinance it, take the equity out the home, fix it up, sell it. You can refinance it.
Because if it was about money, she could have refinanced it.
Yeah,
Got
absolutely.
the,
Especially if she owns it free and clear. She, you know, like I said, depending on the property, at the very least, she's probably sitting on $50,000. At the very least.
yeah.
You know, and so that $50,000 you could take out and fix up the house, and now the house is worth double.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the very least, so she doesn't own it. She only owns now $50,000 on the house, and she refinanced it. Let's say she put that back in the house. Now the house is easily worth $100,000. So I mean, like I said, but the education part starts where people have to understand what their options are. And you know, like I said, I know we're getting ready to go in that regards here, but you know, like
We got to do another one because
you know.
that's
Hey.
we have to like go even deeper with this because the home thing is super important.
Yeah, it's
like,
just a psychological part of it.
Yeah,
You know, just
man.
like I said, being, you know, black and brown people of color and understanding that's something that they just don't understand. So,
Right,
You know, in that
right.
regards.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to do a part 2 to this session. We got some background noise. we got some background noise. I was trying to be like, I don't hear that, but I hear it. So this is episode 2 of The Strongest Man in the Room with my brother Willis Woods. He is an amazing person, amazing human being, is doing the work in the community to not only make money, but show others how to make money. Please reach out to him if you have a commercial property, personal property, want to get your credit together. If you're in real estate and need access to some people that he already has in his team that you are lacking, reach out to me, reach out to him. He is on Facebook. Willis Woods Jr., I believe. Senior. That means he has a junior. So Willis Woods Senior. Look him up. Beautiful black brother. Looks just like this. As soon as you see his name, reach out to him, shoot him a message. If you have some fear about approaching him, don't. If you have a question, ask.
Yeah, inbox me, man.
Inbox
Nobody
me.
ever know that, we're talking. There's a lot of people that I work with that nobody ever knows that shoot me a question, or embarrassed about what a credit score.
All
all
right,
that.
so this is KUAW. This is the strongest man in the room, signing off till next month.